so let's jump right in. We're talking about Baluchistan, one of the most strategically important regions in the world, and it's facing a fundamental choice. Is its future going to be a bunch of isolated fortresses, or will it become a truly living, breathing network? The answer? Well, it could change everything for an entire country.
And this quote from Brigadier Syed Abad, it just completely flips the script. This isn't about fixing a problem, it's about fulfilling a promise. This one sentence sets us up to see Baluchistan's future in a totally new light.
And look, this isn't some academic theory. This vision is from a true insider. Brigadier Abid has spent nearly 30 years living and breathing this reality. He wasn't just observing from afar, he lived it, which gives him this incredible personal perspective on what's really going on.
So let's start right there, with that very idea of an unfinished promise. And let's see it through the eyes of someone who's walked the ground for decades.
Just look at this journey. It tells you everything. He shows up in '96 as a young captain. Then he's on the ground monitoring elections, leading flood relief, managing security on these massive infrastructure corridors. Then he's serving in all these critical districts like Dare Bukti and Gwadar. This isn't just a list of jobs. It's a 30-year education in the real-world complexities of Baluchistan. He didn't just see it, he learned from it.
So after all those years, what's the big takeaway? He saw that development was just showing up in random pieces. Imagine the road over here, a port over there, but nothing connecting them. They were just projects dropped into place without the ecosystem they needed to thrive, and they were investments that the local people felt no ownership over.
And all of this leads him to his core diagnosis of the problem, a concept he calls the fortress mindset. So what exactly is the fortress mindset? Think of it like this. The main goal is to build walls, to guard the asset, to control the road. It's all about security first. But the problem is that focus on control often comes at the cost of actually connecting with the people and the economy all around it. This slide just makes that idea so incredibly clear. Think about a highway. Is it a corridor or a connector? A corridor's only job is to get stuff from point A to point B super fast. It just blows past everything in between. But a connector, that's totally different. It's built to be a lifeline with on-ramps and off-ramps that link local communities into the main artery. One is just a line on a map, the other is a real network.
And this is what you get with that fortress mindset, these islands of prosperity. Gwadar Port is the poster child for this. We're talking a state-of-the-art, multi-billion-dollar facility that's basically a high-security bubble totally fenced off physically and economically from the local fishing villages that have been there forever.
Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the fix? Well, this is where we get to his proposed solution, something he calls the Aquarian model.
And the big idea here is so simple, but it changes everything. Stop building walls, start weaving a web. It's a total shift from a model based on control to a model based on connection. So, how does it work? Well, it's built on 5 key pillars that all have to work together. First up, you've got digital integration, getting communities online and giving them a formal voice. Then, you rethink the physical infrastructure, turn those security roads into actual trade arteries. Third, it has to be climate adaptive, using data to get ahead of crises instead of just reacting. Fourth is this bigger idea of networked security. It's not just about checkpoints, it's about water security, job security, and finally, maybe the most important piece of the puzzle, seeing the community as the node, the thing that stabilizes the whole system.
And that brings us right to the heart of the choice Baluchistan is facing today, right now. Are they going to keep building these isolated silos, or are they going to finally create a living system? This slide lays it out perfectly, right? The silo versus the system. A silo is like having a brand new computer with no software. It's just hardware. It creates that flyover effect we talked about, where the local economy gets completely bypassed. But a system, that's where the magic happens. Hardware and software working in sync, where value is actually created and kept locally. It's resilient because it's anchored in the community itself. So what's missing? What do we need to build this living network? Well, this slide is like a report card, and honestly, the grades aren't great. Let's look at the connective tissue. Take the economic tissue. Right now, totally disconnected. Socially, it's fragile. And digitally, it's sparse, which, is a complete non-starter for a modern logistics network. That column on the right tells us exactly what needs to be built to fix this. And what's so wild is that the timing on this is absolutely critical. There's this huge opportunity with Phase 2 of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or CPEC, which is officially supposed to focus on socioeconomic development. But, and this is a huge but, there's a massive risk. If it's just another corridor, Baluchistan basically becomes a highway, a place stuff passes through, but where no real value is ever created for its people. So that's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? What's it going to be? A transit economy that serves outsiders, or a people's economy that builds wealth from the inside out?
Okay, so this brings us to the final section. It's all about the future that has to be built. At the end of the day, it all boils down to one thing, a massive shift in thinking. It means getting away from that old security-first fortress model and fully embracing a new economic model that is centered on people. You know, this next quote really hammers the point home. Because just building stuff, that's not the answer. You can have the shiniest roads and biggest ports, but if they aren't integrated, if they aren't connected to the people, they're just beautiful, expensive, and incredibly fragile silos. So let's leave it with this one final thought from the Brigadier, because it really says it all. The stakes here are so much higher than just economics. If Baluchistan can make this leap from a bunch of projects to a living, breathing system, the impact is just profound. It's not just about progress, it's about healing. And really, what better future is there to build than that?